So since post-WrestleMania 2011, as you guys know, we have been regularly reviewing the Smackdown shows, and we've just generally done it every week. We didn't used to do it when we started it, but then we figured, hell, you know, we want to get our opinions on that on this set show. Essentially, what is the B show for WWE? And essentially now, it's got to the point where we just can't watch it anymore. It's terrible. It's just not must-see at all.
Sadly, as well as our own opinions on the show, we've realised a large member of the YWC and wrestling fans don't really tune into SmackDown, really care about SmackDown, so we thought, as much as we do try and add comedy to it, it's still not getting out there to the YWC, so we thought, instead of doing a SmackDown review, we'll do another topical day of the week, or the SmackDown itself.
Yeah, what we're essentially going to do in this new SmackDown format is we're going to touch on the main talking points of the week. This week is going to be the Punk and Jerry Lawler segment that they did on Raw, and then we're going to touch on certain things that happened during the SmackDown show which we think are worth talking about. The one topic we found from this show that we probably want to talk about most is the possibility of a Randall Keith Orton heel turn. So those are the two topics we're essentially going to be talking about in this video. We do want your feedback though as to what you think. It's just that it's got to the point now where watching and reviewing SmackDown for us is incredibly dull and incredibly boring, and we wanted to find a new way of freshening it up. And I think, especially this week, where so many things have been happening in the wrestling world, it's a nice week to start off this new sort of like topical video format of the SmackDown, of the Friday video, which was the SmackDown review.
And then what we're thinking with the big topic of Raw, obviously we want your opinions on that, because there's so much different opinions on it, good and bad, so make sure you comment that part, as well as the Orton one, which is still up in the air, but it's another discussion.
Yeah, so please lay back and enjoy the next two clips that we have for you. The first clip we're going to have is our opinions on the CM Punk and Jerry Lawler debacle, and then the video after that is going to be where we talk about Randall Keith Orton's potential heel turn down the line. So as part of this new SmackDown review format that we're doing, we're going to be touching on what was the biggest talking point of the week. We addressed in our Wednesday video the main issues with WWE and why people are tuning out. But from the Raw review and the comments we got on the Raw review, the biggest segment, the biggest talking point of the week had to be that Punk Lawler segment. Was it edgy TV or distasteful? I think most people really seem to think it was distasteful. I mean, we had a no DQ poll that said, did WWE go too far with the Jerry Lawler segment? 54% of them said yes, 34% said no, and 12% said not sure, which indicates to me quite a lot that people, over half the people were against it. And to be honest with you, I think me and you were both of that majority, that we felt the segment itself went a little bit too far, and it was a tad distasteful, really, wasn't it?
That's the thing, because when you look at it, you see that the WWE want to do their best to make everyone happy. And yes, this could have been one of their ideas, but I really don't think it worked out in their best interest.
No, I think this is a typical idea of the WWE thinking something, and it might sound like the kind of thing that is like they might think is good, but it doesn't come across very well. And I guess my question really is, if they have to do that to get CM Punk over as a heel, why is he a heel? Why can't they just use simple heat methods rather than going this far to try and get him hated by the audience? Clearly there is something wrong. It's like when you tried to push Triple H as a babyface and you did that walkout angle. If you need to go that far, why the fuck are you even pushing him as a babyface? You know.
Because when you look at CM Punk, yes, you do see him being a strong heel, because obviously the gimmicks and things he's done in the past, but as time went on, he became a face, and obviously they wanted to reinvent him as a heel again. And to go against Lawler, again, I'm against the majority of the time you go against commentators, because commentators are not really the main focus in wrestling. It's the wrestlers and the boss. So to go against Jerry Lawler after something as serious as an unscripted heart attack, it just wrong.
It was kind of distasteful, and I think what we need to remember here is the people involved, Jerry Lawler, Paul Heyman, CM Punk, Vince McMahon, probably even Vicky Guerrero as well, they all okayed the segment. So to them, everything was being done by the book. And I can understand WWE trying to push some boundaries, I guess, trying to be a little bit edgy. But to be honest, I kind of think this went a little bit too far. And it doesn't really help me, really, that this was done on the eve of Eddie Guerrero's death from heart failure. And I think if that wasn't the case, I may have been a little bit more okay with it. But to be honest, you saw me when I was watching it, and I saw you when you was watching it. When we were watching it, we were kind of looking at each other going,
And the fact is, we did go like that from the very beginning, but then he went on and on and on. It's just that he didn't do one insult and then move on to a different topic on Lawler. He kept bringing up death, attack, beat you and all stuff like that. And he just went on and on. And our expression, our comfort for this segment, and probably the rest of Raw went down and down and down. And the worst thing of all, not just our opinions, but in fact your new target audience are kids. When they're hearing about death and beating someone to death and that's not really PG, is it?
No, and I'll bring up some facts with you here, guys, as this is what we're going to try and do a little bit more on this. Apparently, Lawler's return with the segment involving CM Punk, Paul Heyman and Mick Foley gained 745,000 viewers, which is a high 3.38 quarter-hour rating. But by the end of the segment, the angle lost 876,000 viewers. That is a loss of about 130,000 viewers. I think that kind of shows you how people felt about that, really, doesn't it?
It was really hard for the WWE who want to try and get ratings, viewership, and all of a sudden when something they think is going to be a good idea turns out to be a real negative idea, slaps them back in the face and then realising maybe we should have not done that.
And it goes to show you that as much as it was bringing in viewers during the segment, people started tuning out because they thought it was a little bit distasteful. I think one thing that I also found a little bit distasteful about the segment wasn't just the segment itself, but it was the way they recorded Jerry Lawler's death as if it was drama, when it was actually real. What the fuck were the cameras rolling when he was actually dying? When, you know, the cameras were going to him in a fucking ambulance as if it was a wrestling angle. This is real life. The guy could have fucking died. Why were they recording this and then showing it on TV? I mean, that's just taking that a little bit step further, really, isn't it?
Very true. The fact it was done something as serious as a heart attack, yes, you want to see how serious it was, but the fact they used the seriousness to back up what point they were trying to get across, I thought this is just going too far, WWE. You've got Jerry Lawler, one of your long-term commentators and people with your company, and on his return day, he has to go through this.
Yeah, and I just want to, while we're here, I just want to bring up some quotes from some wrestlers. You have Steve Austin saying, "I believe in pushing the envelope in an aggressive fashion, but when a guy damn near dies at ringside, let it go. You look at all the contributions Jerry Lawler has made in this business from a work standpoint, a promo standpoint, and then as a broadcaster. I think it's pushing the envelope in the wrong direction. There's better ways to get real heat than that." And I think that's kind of where we fall on the scale. There's easier and better ways to get heat than mocking a guy for having a heart attack, really, isn't
For
there?
example, the biggest example I'm going to give here is, let's go with Randy Orton. To get his heel heat, he'll probably pump people in the head, go after the boss.
Remember, Eddie is in hell?
That was a bit bad.
That was bad.
If you look past that, yeah, Eddie Guerrero went there to back it up, or it gets heel heat other way, and it worked for him. You saw the feud with Triple H, how strong that was because of what he went through. But to get CM Punk heat, to go up against Jerry Lawler, and to mock his heart attack, I don't care if he okayed it, it was just wrong.
And to be honest with you, the argument really here, as we put in our review, is it edgy TV or is it distasteful? We generally fall on the side that it was distasteful. There are a lot of people out there that say, you guys want edgy TV, you got it, why are you moaning? And people are saying, oh, this is what they did in the Attitude Era, why is it all of a sudden bad now? Well, you put it right earlier in the car. We're not fucking in the Attitude Era now, are we? We're in the PG Era. Things have changed since then. Political correctness has gone to a new all-time high. People's opinions on these kind of things, people are much more easily offended by things nowadays, really.
And that's why I hate Cena so much, because he's very kid-friendly, so when they bring something that's not targeted to the kids, which is death, heart attack, they take it to an extreme level to try and bring back or to entertain the hardcore fans. But even the hardcore fans are starting to realise we've entered an era which is about the youngest generation, and this was not good for kids.
And I guess, to be honest, I can understand why people may thought it was edgy. I think it's got to a point now where edgy TV, people are willing to accept quite a lot when it comes to edgy TV. I can understand why people thought, I mean, it was pushing the boundary, don't get me wrong. I can understand if you're not offended by it, you would have thought it was edgy TV. And that is your opinion, we respect that. But we just thought it was very distasteful, mainly due to the fact that they were mocking a heart attack, which was a real life thing that happened, and people have died from heart attacks many times. They recreated the fake one. And then it also happened on the eve of Eddie's death anniversary from heart failure. And while we're here, I just want to go, let's go to the other side while we're here of the argument. Chris Jericho said, I think it's pretty obvious, don't you? I kind of expected it. Punk's promo was awesome, it's wrestling, so you knew it would end up as an angle sooner or later. I got the same complaints when I did the alcoholic angle earlier this year with CM Punk. It would be like me being mad at Breaking Bad because the dad was a drug addict or something. It's just a TV show after all. And I guess what Chris Jericho is basically saying there is, well, guys, it's a wrestling angle, it's scripted, it's fake. But I think there's a certain aspect of it that you can bring in reality, but I think there are parts of this, the kind of reality like death and a heart attack and fatal death, that shouldn't really be brought into a wrestling angle. Like the CM Punk thing with his dad being a drug addict, that wasn't so bad because it only represented something in reality. But the whole heart failure thing for me, the whole heart attack fake thing, was kind of drawing a line.
I do think when it comes to the straight edge thing, the fact that CM Punk embraces it, says he is, they made it to an angle that weren't too heavy on Punk himself. It worked. It was fine. There weren't many complaints. Yes, it went on for a few weeks. People got bored of it. That's not the point. With Jerry Lawler, the fact that he may have okayed it, like, that's the whole point of your argument, people. But the fact that this was something more heavy than straight edge and drinking, he could have died in this if it went as worse than it already did. I just think Chris Jericho's point not as strong valid compared to Austin.
Yeah, and then we go to Lance Storm, who I think kind of sums up our opinion on this quite well. I thought it was poor. Both he and Punk are capable to get real heat. No need to sink so low. Also thought it was out of character for Punk, so it hurt. Punk is about best in the world and himself. Why bother joking about heart attack if it goes nowhere? Interruption was okay, and in character, fake heart attack was cheap and pointless. That sums up our view on it pretty much, doesn't it?
This definitely brings up the point of Mick Foley. Yes, they had to bring Mick Foley into this, who's not really in the feud with Punk anymore, but when Foley got into the ring, the speech he had and the thing he laid down Punk with his speech, which I'm pretty sure if we were there, we would have said the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a very strong part of the promo.
It saved the segment, really, in my opinion. I think overall, the reaction has generally been that it was distasteful. The poll is mostly yes. The poll is mostly people saying it was distasteful. People in the comment section on the Raw review generally thought it was very distasteful. Wrestlers and professionals, generally from what we saw, thought it was distasteful. The segment rating kind of showed that it was distasteful. I think we have a lot of things here that kind of back up our argument that we feel it was distasteful. But it's all down to opinion, really. If you don't get offended by that kind of stuff, then okay. But we thought it was quite distasteful. That's just us.
And my point right here, to wrap up my point, is CM Punk, good luck with your WWE title run.
Indeed, yes. As we saw on Smackdown, the crowd booed at Randy Orton for the first time in 2 years. He could be turning heel, and in this section of this video, we're going to be discussing whether or not a Randy Orton heel turn could be a good thing, and would it be a good direction to go in for the Randy Orton character. Now, and I think straight away, we're both of the opinion that a heel Randy Orton is definitely a better Randy Orton.
Orton is definitely, as we've seen in his career, a really strong heel. He's gone through so much that shows that he could be, or is, one of the top heels for the WWE.
Yeah, and I guess the thing is with me, it's right now, Orton going heel would be best for his character. He's always been better as a heel, he cuts better promos as a heel, his monster booking would be a lot better as a heel, he looks and acts more like a heel. He can't really be a babyface. We've seen how he can kind of be a babyface, but not really properly a big smiley, kind of typical WWE babyface. And right now, I think the thing is, if they do turn him heel, my only question is, it may be a good thing for Orton, but what are they left with then on the babyface side? Sheamus, Cena, Ryback?
That's the thing, because at the minute we've just discussed that Miz has became a face now, and hopefully punches a virus if he stays as a face, because obviously many doors open, as we've said.
We did videos on that, didn't we?
We
on
did
our personal channels. You did one on Tuesday. I did one earlier today, so go check those videos out in the description box, guys, on our opinions on Miz turning face. Carry on.
So that brings us up to him being a face. Hopefully he'll stay that way. But Orton, if he was to turn heel, you're taking away another top base for the company. You're taking Orton, you put Orton where he belongs, but obviously still need the top bases in your company.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest with you, right now, I think the only real good top heel we have is probably CM Punk in terms of a possible draw. I mean, we've got Big Show, but he's not really that great of a heel, really. He's not really a draw. So I think, to be honest, if you want to even out the babyface side and make the babyface side less strong and make the heel side a little bit stronger, I think an Orton heel turn could definitely be a very good thing. There are, of course, positives and negatives to it, like we've discussed and will continue to discuss into this video, but I'm generally of the belief that when Orton is put in a position to be heel, he's more effective because he can draw heat. I think the babyface turn was kind of a test for Randy Orton to see if he could be a baby. He's never really probably over as a babyface. The character just works so much better when he's a heel, especially if he's punting people in the fucking head.
And that's the thing, because there's a lot of wrestlers, from what we've read on forum and things in the past, they prefer to be a heel.
Yeah.
And the fact they're trying to hold back the heel turns for a lot of wrestlers is really unfair, even though you are trying to balance out the heels and faces. But Orton, from day one, even now, he cannot do the whole face act. He does smile, he says He cut the promos as a face, but
My
you can
name.
hear the heel tactics.
My name is Randy Orton. I mean, that's the best you're really going to get out of him. So we don't really know whether he's going to be turning heel. We've heard in the news and in the dirt sheets that apparently he is desperately wanting to turn heel because he much prefers to be a heel. Now, we only really saw a couple of shades of that, really. We've seen Miz turning babyface. Now, do you think they turn Miz babyface? This would be a way of maybe, switching it around. So you've got babyface going there, heel going to babyface, really. Because, like I said, we've heard those news reports. We didn't really see all that much of a clue, really, that Orton was going to turn heel, apart from the fact that he RKO'd Miz, which would indicate that he probably may turn heel down the line. But, it wouldn't be a bad direction to go for Randy Orton at this point in time, especially if he's going to be in the World Championship picture.
At the minute, I'm quite leaning towards keeping the face you can for a while. You've got loads of heels running about. Try and keep the face numbers up. And then, obviously, if you want a heel turn, save it for a point where you need it.
Yeah, I think it does need to happen at the right time. Whether this would be the right time, it depends on whether they want to feud him with Sheamus or because if Ziggler's going to hold the championship, there's so many complications there. I do think that Randy Orton is definitely better as a heel, but right now WWE don't have that many baby faces, and Randy Orton is one of those baby faces that is consistently featured in a feud every week. Now, with him taking him out of the equation, maybe Miz will replace his spot. Who really knows? But if they don't have him as a babyface, it's one more big-time kind of babyface they've got on the show that has some kind of star recognition that can't be in a feud with another heel. Because let's face it, WWE don't have enough big-time babyfaces. And while Orton isn't a big-time babyface, he still is a babyface with some kind of star power and longevity because he's been with the company now for like 10 years.
That's the thing, because Orton over the years, face or heel, he has been building up a fan base. Yes, he probably still have the fan base as a heel, but at the minute, I think they should keep him as a top base, so you don't limit yourself to using Cena more, using Sheamus more. By Orton being a top base, like we've said, there's a few that he could possibly go against a heel Ziggler. So at the minute, it evens out him to stay the way he is.
Yeah, so he may turn heel, he may not. But to be honest, even if he hasn't turned heel, I think for this video alone, it'll be a nice, interesting discussion that I think a lot of people would want to put their opinions on. So put your opinions in the comment section below on whether you think Orton should turn heel. Do you think it would be better or worse for his character? Just let us know in this new revised Smackdown format we're going to be doing, as this was a kind of big talking point of the show. I mean, you had him taking out Miz in that tag match, then you have him pretty much clean out the ring like a freaking generally a heel would generally do.
They're really trying to hint stuff for Orton's character. It's just the big question is, do the YWC or the wrestling community or the wrestling universe want to see Orton as a face or heel?
And what will happen at Survivor Series if he maybe is doing a heel turn? Could add an interesting intrigue to that match, couldn't it, essentially?
Could it?
Well, you've heard our thoughts on the main topic of the week. Yes, on Wednesday we did discuss why people are tuning out of the WWE, but we want your opinions on the two topics at hand that we talked about here. Give us, if you have any opinions on the Smackdown show itself, you put them in the comment section below. I will generally try and respond to any of them based on what I've read on the spoilers, but we haven't watched Smackdown. We just don't care about it.
And we hope that these 2 points we've made are a lot better than a Smackdown review. Even though you do like our opinion on Smackdown, there really weren't much to talk about. So I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as we've enjoyed recording it.
And like I said at the beginning of the video, leave us your feedback on this format. We probably will stick with this format. We'll probably change it and chop and change bits of it every now and then based on feedback we get and the certain things that happen during the week. Hell, there may even be a week where nothing happens, so...
No, so we're hoping this concept works because it is an interesting thing. It's going to get more of a discussion going and more communication between us. So hopefully this works out for us.
Yep, so that's been another, I guess you could say, the first sort of Friday, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. We'll find some sort of name for it. We haven't really thought of one yet. That's how great at planning we are at the British Fist here.
Gotcha! Mr.
Parkin here, of course. This guy is going to give you an outro. His name is NJ, people.
Thank you very much, people. We've enjoyed doing this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching. And from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, YouTubers, enjoy the pay-per-view and goodbye.